C'est dans l'air. C'est super. The show goes on. That's very interesting. This day is a very important day for me. For the first time since, this nightmare has begun, I could finally defend myself. This chance has been given to me for the first time ever since I experienced this misery, as this nightmare has taken off. After he's run away from miserably challenging Japanese justice system in a fantastic way, where he was accused of malversation, and he has been targeted by the arrestment, indictment, verdict. Carlos Ghosn has finally made his own return to the scene by placing himself in front of cameras to actually launch his counter-attack in the media, pulling off his method to launch an attack against the Japanese justice system, relying on the media blitz, right? Because the Japan is really the place where he has been accused of having committed a malversation, an embezzlement, and he has been targeted to be arrested immediately. There has been an international extradition notification, and the Japanese court has already issued the highest alert on his arrestment to have him in arrest, right? So Carlos Ghosn has finally pulled off on Wednesday by making his comeback and staging his return to the cameras by pulling off his media stunt, right? The formal chief executive of the Russian Renault Mitsubishi, who actually claims his role as a victim of the grandiose political industrial scheme to have been sacrificed by this scheme spurred by the Japanese government, and he has been arrested under the suspicion, and he was already placed inside the prison during the circumstantial challenges mounting against him in November 2018. And he actually has clarified his decision to come out to wash his honor and clarify and cleanse his dignity, because he was already mistreated to be imprisoned inside the detention center as a prison house, and he already experienced incarceration in Japan as a convict while going through the actual procedures. No verdict has been actually given to him directly because he was indicted for having committed embezzlement and malversation, right? So more specifically, he has been under a suspicion. So he was arrested in November 2018. So he was detained in Japan, and he has been determined to cleanse his honor by seeking a vindication to even out the rules against him, denouncing the false and wrong accusations against him with no profound understanding and profundity. Carlos Ghosn has already criticized noticeably two members of the Council of the Nissan's Administrative Office, who actually have been seriously affected with the politically related motives to be associated with the political affairs. According to him, they have already initiated issue with a clear notification owing to the lowness of the performance to construct their accusation and pretexts at the beginning of 2017. And he actually, held those two particular members from the administration council who've been actually part of the Nissan company to be influenced by the political clout. According to him, those two have already initiated the project because of the fall down and the downfall of the performance at the very beginning, starting from the beginning of 2017. For this, formal guru and the magnate of the auto industry, the French law says that Florence, who has already given rights to vote with a dual citizenship, with a double right to representing the French by relying upon the Council of Administration, has never been equally pledged to have a top position at Nissan and to be connected with the Japanese authorities. And they are responsible for Nissan in the Japanese judicial system, who have been somehow connected to the very sacrificial idea by having the cavalry from his origin. I have been taken as a hostage by Japan. The alliance has disappeared, and Carlos Ghosn has affirmed and confirmed that he has been very much determined to give his version of the facts. Let me actually say this once more. For this disgrace, the formal guru of the automobile company, the French law says the Florence, who has a runaway and who has already given a right to vote by invoking double rights, following from the French society founded by the French Council of Administration, has not been equally voted or privileged to take over the role from the board members and the leaders from Nissan, or have been affected by the Japanese authorities. They are the responsibilities coming from Nissan and the Japanese authority, who have actually sacrificed and dismissed the very origin by actually putting him to be burdened with the greatest cross, by considering him as a cavalry, to actually be disgraced with the irrational burdens and pressures on him. So according to him, I have been taken as a hostage in Japan, and the alliance has disappeared, and Carlos Ghosn has affirmed and confirmed how much he has been determined and resolute to give out his own version of the facts and each side of the story, because he's been very much troubled with this type of challenge. Because that happened actually, according to the French law, this says that he's been actually given with the two rights, double rights to vote, by actually being committed to the French status and the French government, following from the Council of Administration. Council of Administration here means the French status. The actual citizenship, status, recognition, commitment to the French company, Renault, that has not been equally representable for the leaders of Nissan by being bound by the same rules affecting the simple leaders in Nissan, or he has not been bound by the authorities of Japan by being subject to the jurisdiction of the French government, because he's been operating the business in France. But that has been in connection and coalition with the Japanese government, unlike the rest of Nissan's officers and leaders in the boarding room, right? These are the responsibilities and liabilities undertaken by Nissan and the Japanese justice, who have actually somehow, Japanese justice system and the responsibility of Nissan somehow have created a mystery by sacrificing and bleeding the dignity of Gawson by taking his own origin at risk, by actually considering him as a Calvary to be sacrificed, by putting him on the vulnerable position site. He's been actually on the spot and on the site to be vulnerable. His position in which he's been working on has been undermined. So he said that, quote unquote, I've been actually victimized by Japan. The alliance has disappeared. Carlos Ghosn has confirmed